Good afternoon, all our Mama Magic mums and dads. Well, I know that we've all enjoyed a spectacular and absolutely fun weekend with Mama Magic's online festival. Hi, guys, I'm waving back at you. So good to have you guys. We have got an absolutely fantastic topic. Hey, that's Jeannie. Hey, Jeannie, thanks for saying hi. Drop us a thumbs up, everybody. Drop us a wave. As we get started, we've got, I think, a topic that every single parent wants to know about, and that is sleep. And we have the best person for the job going to be giving us her expertise. Hi, everyone. Oh, I love all the waves. You guys are making me feel so good. So thank you so much also to Mama Magic and to our sleep expert who's coming online just now. I am going to be inviting her shortly. I am sure she's online. I hope you guys are well. If you have any questions, I'm just waiting for Bedtime Baby Bliss. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask her, please drop a question into the comments box. And if we don't cover it in our chat as we go along, we are certainly going to pick up on those questions that you're asking. Nicci, where are you? I'm waiting for Nicci to come along. So get your fingers typing, guys. This is the perfect time to get your questions in. So please do that. I'm just waiting for Nicci. I'm waiting to see that she's online with me. And as soon as she is online, guys, you must have questions about sleep and your baby or sleep and your toddler. One of the things I am going to be bringing in, I have called sleep in the time of Corona. So, and I know for myself with two little girls, for other mums, you know, everything's kind of been turned upside down, and sleep is one of those things. So I am just waiting for Bedtime Baby Bliss to come online with me. And as soon as she does, we are going to go live. Let me just see where she is. Guys, drop your questions in. I know you've got sleep questions. All right, let's check in with Nicci. And as soon as she is on, then I will invite her. If you guys see Bedtime Baby Bliss and I'm not seeing it, give me a nudge, please. So drop me your questions, your most burning questions about sleep and your baby. Oh, I've got one question so far. Your 3-year-old waking up every 30 minutes. Aha, there she is. And I am going to invite her right now. If I can just get my button to work. There we go. Aha, Nicci, you're here. Excellent. And in 3, 2, I am doing the countdown. 1, I hear you. Hey, Nicci. Yes. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so sorry.
No.
Technology challenge. I'm like, press accept, press accept.
And you know what, Nicci? This time around, you and I used to doing talks, and this time around, there's no tech guy kind of running to our aid.
Exactly. I was like, I'm all by myself. How am I going to get this right?
Well, you've got a burning, beautiful audience, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on behalf of Magic. But Nicci, you are a certified infant stimulation specialist, a pediatric sleep consultant, and a safe sleep ambassador. And the best part is you are a mum of 2. There's nothing quite like the lived experience of your field of expertise. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oh my gracious. It's always the question that I wanted, like, how do you explain yourself? Do you know what? I think I have the most incredible job. I think as a woman, when you have to explain yourself, you wonder which snippet from which box do I choose today? Because you really are so many boxes and you wear so many hats as a professional mom.
Yes.
And when I say professional mom, your stay-at-home mom is also a professional mom, because her professional job is to raise those children.
Yeah.
So more about me, I have an absolute passion about raising children. I've literally fallen in love with educating children and parents since very early on. I've had a lot of inspirational women in my life. Haven't lived more than one life yet. And since very early on, I knew within very early years of high school that I was going to go into the realm of young children. So I did all of my my social work when you had to go out and, you know, get your feet wet for tertiary education. I was in a creche.
Wow.
And that's where it started. I went au pairing overseas and decided to do Montessori and baby stimulation, and I keep studying. It never stops.
Yeah, because we evolve as human beings, don't we? And from one stage to the next. And you've already got a ton of popping up into the comments. And Nicci, we're going to dive right in. They want to hear from you. But let's do this, because one mum, Cassie, that she has a 3-month-old who's waking up every 30 minutes just after, obviously exhausted. What is the adequate amount of time that your little one should be sleeping at around that? If you look at 3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
Okay, so for a 3-month-old, that's still prior to the first major sleep regression. So their sleep habits are still going to be very immature. However, that doesn't say that they're not going through that major sleep regression at 3 months. There's a very broad spectrum. So you might find that that little one is going through the major sleep regression early. So you will find that they are waking up every 30 to 45 minutes overnight between sleep cycles. So there's a high chance that they're just having an early major sleep regression. I hate the word regression because that is actually the maturation of sleep, looking more or resembling more of adult sleep. So it's actually the first major sleep progression. For a 3-month-old, during the day, we would want round about 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep broken up, and about 12.5 hours overnight broken by feeds. Okay. There's no such thing as 12 hours sleep, people. And no such thing.
And before you go back and carry on with the adequate sleep, I want to jump in here. Nicci, when I had my little girl, my eldest is 4 now, I remember, and I was lucky. I worked along with Mama Magic. I was in the parenting sphere. I had great support. I had a husband who was really honest with me, but still I put so much pressure on myself for the little baby to sleep through the night. What is the right definition of night for a baby?
Okay. This is where I want to set the story straight. There is no such thing as sleeping through the night.
Okay.
However, there is such a thing as self-settling through the sleep phases. So for overnight sleep phases, your baby will wake independently between every 4 to 6 hours.
Sure.
Okay. If they are an overtired baby, they could potentially wake every 2 to 4 hours and squeal for some kind of parental influence to put them back to sleep. Sometimes they will be genuinely hungry and they will need to be fed back to sleep because they need the nutrition. Other babies will need patting or rocking or to put their dummy back in because neurologically they do not have the maturity to do so. So up until about 6 to 8 months, majority of your babies cannot self-settle overnight and they will still need you to help them back to sleep. overnight. There is a tiny percentage of babies who will go from the time they go to bed until the time they wake up in the morning, all the way through having the ability to self-settle between sleep cycles.
Okay.
However, it is rare. But for a sleep through night, it's anything from 4 to 6 hours, which is a full sleep cycle.
Okay, thank you for that, Nicci. So now let's go back to that your mum. And I know it's a case-by-case basis generally. So mum, I need to listen up because you're going to be giving us some advice as we continue our conversation. And one of the things that mums have been asking as well is how do you create, what is the setting the stage for sleep? What does that mean? How do I create this beautiful sleep environment?
Okay, so there is a biological side to setting the stage, and then an emotional side to setting the stage, and both have to go hand in hand. Okay, so the biological side, you want to, number one, provide darkness. A lot of people say, oh no, I don't want my child to get confused between night and day. The fact is that can only happen whilst the body clock is setting itself, and that happens from round about the 6 to 12-week mark, when the body clock is setting. After the 12-week mark, it is impossible for your baby to get confused. The balance between their circadian rhythm and their homeostatic drive, it's set, so they're okay. Providing darkness for your baby to sleep produces the hormone melatonin, and melatonin is the calming hormone that helps your baby drop to sleep and stay asleep. Yay!
Yay!
So we want to provide a dark environment. The second one is a warm environment. You don't want your baby to be shuddering because they're not going to be able to go to sleep. No one wants to be ice cold.
Yeah.
Your third factor you want to provide is a swaddle for your young babies. Because your swaddle gives you that lovely neuro sensation. It really does help to calm the sympathetic nervous system. It's that beautiful out the womb cuddle. Yeah. So all your babies under the 5-month mark, give them a nice little swaddle. Some of them can be arms down, some of them can be crossed arm. There's the beautiful, yes, that's it. My favorite is the Love to Dream, have beautiful arms up swaddles that help to prevent that Moro reflex or that startle reflex that wakes them between sleep cycles. So that's another swaddle. That's the biological side of your environment. But to set the scene, you also have to take an emotional side. How am I making my baby feel about going to sleep?
They feel what we feel.
That's it. If you are going to be wound up and stressed about your baby going to sleep, they ain't going to go to sleep because you are going to make them feel like there is a lion in the room and they are about to get chowed. That's it. That ain't going to work. Not going to work. So you want to create a wind down.
I love that.
So you want to take them into their sleep environment and wind down with them. So go into a dull lit room. Sit down. Read. Not your phone.
Not phone. I was just
not your phone. Not your phone. We are not looking at Facebook. We are sitting down. We are breathing. We are reading. We can whip out the massage oil, some grapeseed. I love my grapeseed. We can massage our babies. We need to put ourselves in a calm state so that we are feeding all our energy to our babies to say,
that's beautiful.
We're calm. It's calm. It is just time to sleep.
Oh, I love it.
Because if we do not provide that calm environment, they're never going to drop off to sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's setting the scene.
Okay, guys, you've got it. The mums and dads online. I don't think I've heard it explained that beautifully and down the line before, especially when it comes to the phone. So, and as you're saying that, I already started feeling calmer. You know, just this is my time. I'm going to put sleep now. Just get it in your, accept it, and then go on with it. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. We've done our environment. We've done defining what sleeping through the night is. Some mums are asking if they, and I can see it online as well, where can we expect those kind of longer sleep patterns generally, so that we know something maybe not wrong? What's the norm?
Okay, so you will start seeing longer stretches of sleep only after that big sleep progression has happened. So it's only going to be round about the 5-6 month mark, so long as your bubs have not picked up any negative sleep associations along the way. So for example, if you are rocking your baby to sleep and putting them down to sleep dead asleep, they're going to wake up expecting those same conditions. So that baby will then wake up, call out, because you have put them down in a way that they weren't familiar with the way that they fell asleep. So that child won't sleep further than 4-6 hours. Whereas a 5-6 month old that is now has the neurological maturity to sleep longer, if you have carried out a beautiful wind down and patted them a little bit and allowed them to go down drowsy but awake and sat with them until they have fallen asleep independently, that child could potentially sleep 8 hours with a feed and then go back and sleep another 12 hours. Well, no, not another 12 hours, but sleep to the 12-hour mark.
Okay, that's beautiful. And then, Nicci, we hear these terms, and you and I kind of chatted about stopped ourselves before we got you on the phone. But what is training in a nutshell?
What is sleep training? Okay, so sleep training is the evaluation of your primary sleep space, your child's nutritional intake, your child's emotional needs, and the expectation of your parents. A lot of people seem to think that sleep training is cried out. Okay. Now, cried out is only a parental choice at the end of the journey, where we say, right, we've looked at the sleep space, we've done the assessment to see what associations might be there, and we've covered your food, emotion, and environmental factors. Now let's look at what kind of technique we're going to choose. So that is what sleep training is. Sleep training is taking all the contributing factors that provide a good sleep outcome.
Okay,
so it's not cried out.
It's not just cried out. And when you talk about cried out, you said that is kind of the last area or factor that parents would go to once you've looked at everything else. Is it harmful to the baby? Because lots of debate around the topic.
Absolutely. You know, crying out is such a controversial topic. And there are so many about it. And I say to parents, do you know what? It is a choice. If you are going to use a cry-based technique, do your research. Read actual medical journals with actual results. Not someone who's written an article on personal feelings. Also, don't judge other parents who have used that technique, because you don't know their choices for that. They might have a hypersensitive child who is overstimulated by touch, and they might have already done 6 weeks of gentle parenting and are now at the end of their tether because their child's cortisol is so high that they haven't had any other choice but to do increments of 2-3 minutes of crying because their child has not responded well to a touch-based or gentle parenting-based technique.
Okay, that makes 100% sense. And now that we're talking about is it okay, before I get into the good stuff, moms are like, help me, get a bit of advice. But before we get into the good stuff, I know when we're breastfeeding, sometimes baby falls asleep on the boob, but then you're asleep as well. everybody's kind of happy. But is it okay to allow baby to use a pacifier or any other comfort object to fall asleep?
Do you know what? It is absolutely fine to have positive sleep association.
I love that.
And a positive sleep association is an association that is static. So it cannot be moved away from the child, and it is an association that they can use independently, indefinitely. They can use it at will, and they can remove it at will as well. Now, in regards to breastfeeding to sleep, that is also absolutely fine, so long as you are feeding to sleep indefinitely. So that would then apply to your bed sharing. So long as you're going to breastfeed in a bread sharing, let's share bread, in a bed sharing environment, then that would then be a static or a positive association.
Okay, excellent. And talking about very quickly bed sharing, your thoughts around co-sleeping. What advice do you have for them?
Do you know what? If you look at statistics, more than half of our world bed share, and it is very much a cultural thing. I mean, I was just looking at a study earlier on. 75% of the United States alone bed share, and that's all the way up to 3 months. And it is a generalized thing, looking from country to country.
Yeah.
I mean, Japan alone is pretty much predominantly a bed sharing cultural thing that we all do. However, we do have to do it in a safe way. If you look at World Health Organization and your American Association of Pediatrics, we do have to follow those guidelines in order for it to work well, because we all want positive outcomes. So things like make sure that pillows are a big factor. Make sure that you're not going to, smother your newborn with a big fluffy pillow. That's going to be silly.
Yes.
Make sure that you don't have loose sheets that your little one can worm under the sheets, sort of thing. So if you are going to choose to bed share, follow the lines that are provided on the relevant safe sleep forums.
Yeah.
Don't just do what you want to do. Make sure when you go to the doctor and you want to lose weight, you follow specific guidelines. You don't just starve yourself to death. There's certain rules and regulations we have to abide by. So yeah, half the world bed shares.
Yeah.
This not to bed share in some cultures would be frowned upon.
Yeah.
But you also have to look at, is it working?
Yeah.
Because also we have to look at research up to 6 months. Unfortunately, in bed sharing couples, mums are at risk of falling into depression because they tend to be the full caregivers overnight, and it can bring on exhaustion.
Absolutely.
Because unfortunately, in the bed sharing conditions, not all of those parents continue breastfeeding, and not all of those parents are getting as much sleep as those children, as those kids that are in cots.
Yeah.
So bed sharing does not, one, continue breastfeeding, and does not, two, bring on better sleep. So it has to be as a whole, is bed sharing working?
Yeah.
And if it's not, change it up.
Mum saying this is true, it's exhausting. Please help her, Nicci. Give us some advice. When can you wean off the bed sharing?
It's up to you, Mama Bear. It's up to you. And I can relate to this because my firstborn was a bed sharer and my secondborn would not. So I moved into cot. So I can relate. I can relate. And I moved my daughter out of the bed at, hectic. She must have been about 15 months where she moved to her own bed, and it is exhausting.
Yeah.
It takes about 3 nights, but it is doable.
Sure, it is doable.
Yeah, it is doable.
And I'm going to just say this is why the sleep training methods, and Nicci, you're going to get into this now. Yes, it's critical, but I always say go to the experts. So from the experts, it's so much easier than trying to sift through what we hear from you. Nicci, can you give us a basic guideline on a sleep training routine? What is mom doing? Give them some tips on how they can maybe start tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so bedtime. I'm going to go ballpark from 6 months, because from 6 months, the hours work better.
Yeah.
Under 6 months, okay, so from 6 months through to 18 months, your nap is generally 4 hours to bedtime. Okay, so let's say our baby's waking up at 2 o'clock. So we will, between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, or 2:30 and 6:30.
Yeah.
Between those hours, we will have a play, we will have a dinner, we'll have some more play, some books, and then a bath.
Okay.
The reason why I say dinner then bath is because a nice warm bath takes us away from all of the fun and games of the home.
Yes.
And it puts us in a tranquil environment where we can bring down the lights. We can do some bath oils. We can bring in some lavender. I really love my Johnson's lavender bath. Oh, yes, please.
For us and baby.
Yes, absolutely. So we can then do some nice gentle aromatherapy drops for them. We can even get in the bath with our kids. I mean, it really is how better to wind down with our kids than we winding down as well.
Sure.
Because by the time bedtime comes, we're also, okay, I just want to get you to bed. Oh, I love you, but you need to sleep.
Yeah.
So I then incorporate the bath as part of wind down.
Yes.
From bath time, I will then take out of bath, and then I do a full body massage from head to toe. Because again, that beautiful touch, it just oozes, it just spits out all of those beautiful happy endorphins in your baby, and it gives them again that one-on-one, because that's all they want in the late afternoon, or early evening, because we're so busy.
Yeah.
And even when we are at home, we're on our phones and we're sorting out the next day, and they really need our focus.
Sure.
So by having that bath time, by having that head to toe massage, they are getting exactly what they need from us, is that one-on-one attention, and giving them the security that mama's here.
Yeah.
And I've got you.
I'm here for you.
And I'm preparing you for bed.
Sure.
After we're done with our little massage, we can then take them into their sleep space. Mm-hmm. Depending on whether or not your baby or toddler is on breast or bottle, it's absolutely fine to do your breast or bottle inside their room, but we don't do it in the cot, because the cot is not the feeding space.
Sure.
It's the sleep space.
The sleep.
So if you're going to choose to bottle in the cot, I assure you they're going to wake up during the night wanting that bottle to go. So it's easier for our breastfed babies because they know to wake to be in that chair, not to be fed back to sleep in the cot.
Sure.
Okay. So I take my babies either onto a floor in a nice comfortable chair, and we'll read 1 or 2 books. In fact, I actually wrote, here we go.
Love that.
Wrote a bedtime book that follows all of the positive sleep associations that a young toddler would follow. So we will have our bath, we will read some stories, we will have a cuddle, we will sing. I encourage my moms to create a bedtime song that's specific to their child. Like, for example, I will sing to my son, go to sleep, Macy boy, it is time now to sleep. Hold your doo-doo and your blankie. So it gives them all of the know-how, but in a very sneaky way. So incorporate it. Time to close your eyes. Now hold your doo-doo. but they don't know that we're actually doing this.
Yeah.
They're just hearing it in a musical fashion, and they naturally follow these cues.
Wow.
From there, we're nice and calm. We put down to cot. We can sing a few more songs.
Yeah.
And then that's it. We turn the lights out and we leave.
Yeah. Okay.
Because our beautiful bodies, or their beautiful bodies, one, have secreted all of those stunning happy hormones.
Yes.
And two, the dim lights have already produced melatonin.
Yes.
And three, you've already spent a significant amount of time with them. They are ready to sleep.
Okay.
Bam.
Okay. Bam. That's it.
Bam.
Drops.
Done.
Go.
Mic drop.
And Nicci, this is where I think we get stuck sometimes. After that mic drop, done everything, but baby's still restless. Is it okay for mom to go, or dad, and go and calm baby down, give a pat back, just some input there?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. This is when the choice of settling techniques come in.
Okay.
Now, this is the parent's choice. What kind of settling technique am I going to choose? Because from this moment, this is where consistency of your technique comes in. And this is where my parents tend to fall.
Okay.
Is the consistency of their technique falls through, because I've tried it for a couple of days, it isn't working. 1 or 2 days of being consistent is not going to work for a young baby or toddler. You need at least 7 to 14 days of consistency. Because if you think about it, as an adult, it takes 21 days for our brain, from our short-term memory to long-term memory, to connect long-term. So we need to, as adults, think about that we are in training long-term memories. So that pattern of short-term, what happened tomorrow, what happened today, needs to transit to long-term.
I love that perspective, because in anything that we do, when we create a habit, it takes time. And if we just get that about our baby, I think we'll be a little bit kinder to ourselves and them. So thank you for that beautiful reframe, Nicci. But you've done now. Then we get to the stage where, okay, baby's now transitioning from bed to a cot, from a cot to bed. Like, how do you do this? Because initially, like, let's play games in the bed, and that's setting ourselves up for failure. So just advice when transitioning from a cot to a bed.
That's it. Well, the first and foremost starting point is we don't want to take our baby out before impulse control has developed. Okay, so neurologically, we do not want to set our toddler up for failure.
Okay.
Do they have the neurological impulse control in order to stay in their bed?
Okay.
Because under 2.5, you cannot expect your toddler to stay in bed, because that part of the brain that controls impulse doesn't exist. So you're going to have a baby out, in, out, multiple times a night, and it's going to end up being an absolute fight and whoop in the bed for the rest of the night. And majority of the time, it's going to be maybe 20 to 30 times going to bed. They're then going to have the deepest, most sleep. Because that's when we have the deepest sleep, first 4 to 6 hours. And then after midnight, when our body starts to secrete natural cortisol, in the early hours, anytime from 3 a.m. through to 6, 7, that's when all of those multiple wake-ups are going to start happening again. And they're going to come through and back, and come through and back. And that's it's basically a roller coaster ride.
I love that.
An emotional one.
Exactly, that there was a readiness for them, that impulse control. I didn't realize that. Carry on.
So
control.
That's our first step. Our second step is going to be very literal. We have to be literal for our tots. And I'm actually going to show you what I prepared. Is for our toddlers, I give them a very basic reward chart to understand the basics of how it's going to work. So you can see over here.
Yes. Yes.
Our first bedtime manners chart is lay in bed, stay in bed, close your eyes.
Lay, stay, close. Got that?
That's it.
That's
So 3 simple tasks.
yeah.
A toddler cannot understand or carry out more than 3 basic tasks.
Wow.
As your child gets older, you can then say you can stay in your bed and read 2 books and then blah, 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 blah. But 2.5, get in bed, stay in bed, close your eyes. That's as much as they can handle.
Sure.
And after each of those rules or manners,
Yes.
sticker. Well done.
Okay.
Sticker. Because toddlers need instant gratification. They will not be able to wait till the next day. Okay, so they need to instantly be rewarded for following out the manners chart.
Okay.
They obviously, for the first couple of nights, will not stay in their bed. And that's okay.
Get your expectations right, mums and dads.
That's it. The first couple of nights, you will have to take them back to sleep.
Sure.
But we're going to do it in an extremely boring manner. We do not shout at them or moan at them or talk to them. It is not their fault that they are young and learning.
I love that.
All we are doing is quietly controlling the walkthrough episode
Okay.
and placing them back in bed. That's all we do.
Okay.
We are there to facilitate the process of them learning to get in bed, stay in bed, and close their eyes. That's it. There doesn't have to be a, oh, you were supposed to, oh, I'm so disappointed. There's no need for that. They are learning a new skill.
Wow. I love.
That's how we do it. And to make it even better, the next day,
Yeah.
they get to reward themselves.
We all love rewards.
That's it. So that's how they would then do it. So your toddler, you want to make sure that they are at the appropriate age, nothing less than 2, 2.5. You also want to make sure that their rules or their manners are easy. Climb in bed, stay in bed, close your eyes.
Okay.
That's it. Taking them back to sleep needs to be quiet, no talking.
Yes.
You do not want to, I always say to my parents, do not frighten them to listen.
Sure.
It has to be a choice.
Because now it becomes a negative going to sleep.
That's it. And then you have all kinds of consequences. They will start wetting their beds and all of that jazz. So it is a silent return.
A silent return. I love that. Lay, stay, close, silent return. It's like 4 steps. It's beautiful. Nicci, you've so much, and I know you know, with every mum and dad online who's asking, Nicci, I know that you would gladly share answers on your personal page, so make sure you're in touch with Bedtime Baby Bliss. But Nicci, you've reframed, even for me, that's written so much, I've so been consulted, you've given me totally information. So thank you for the reframe, because I think when parents take what you've given, the experience becomes more positive, and that is amazing. So thank you for that. But I see one, do you have time for 1 or 2 questions, Nicci?
Oh, absolutely.
One mum
I'm at the office, so I've got all the time in the world.
One mum was asking what thoughts are on over-the-counter medications, and I know that you can't medically find, but I know you like a rescue or something to help babies.
Yeah, okay. So my take on medication. The main reason for babies not being able to sleep is actually a rise in their natural cortisol levels. Okay, so cortisol is actually a natural release that the body does on a daily basis. And if that natural release in cortisol occurs more than what it should, for example, an overtired child will then release unnatural cortisol levels, and that then determine whether or not your child is able, biologically able, to sleep longer periods of time during the day and sleep correct duration overnight according to their age. Now, drugging your child is a possibility, but the first half of the night generally is the deepest sleep. So drugging your child at night typically is not going to help because that's the deepest, most restorative sleep anyway. So by the time the drugs have left their system, they're going to be waking up majority after midnight anyway, because that's when the body starts to secrete natural cortisol. So the cortisol that rode the day before is going to carry on as a jetpack into the day, the following day, and mix. So majority of your wake-ups in the overtired baby is going to be from midnight through to the next day. So by drugging your baby, it's really not going to provide much comfort because they're most likely going to be waking at random hours in the early morning anyway. Plus,
I'm listening.
I would much rather you rock your baby to sleep every single nap and break your back than you drug your baby and break their liver.
Sure. They can't process it.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Because, yes, I understand the need to sleep. I had an extremely colic baby. My second born drove me to probably the worst postnatal depression I've seen, and it was me. And I know that it can make you feel as if you do not want to live. But drugging your baby is not the answer, because you are merely putting a plaster over a festering wound. And this is what your sleep therapist, your sleep consultant, your pediatrician, your clinic sister, this is what we're here for. To get to the wound and clear it out and heal both you emotionally and your baby physiologically, emotionally, and the future for more children. Because when kids don't sleep, you don't want any more. You're like, I don't want one of those. We're done here. So no, to drug your children to sleep, I do not agree with it.
I am giving you a silent applause over here because I obviously the advice expert is what I follow. And I've been through the questions. We've answered pretty much everything to the mums and dads online. So, Nicci, on behalf of Mama Magic, you are amazing. I'm going to remember that always. Every parent watching this is going to remember that after late day, close your eyes. There's a mommy that says, no, mommy, I know Nicci. Get in touch with Nicci. Get hold of her. And because I know that Nicci, one of Nicci's other passions is empowering parents, new and old, through their parenting journey. So please get in touch with Nicci. Nicci, you've been amazing on behalf of Mama Magic South Africa. Thank you for being such a critical part of our online platform. And we adore you. We thank you for the advice. Beautiful Sunday.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks.
I love you guys. It's ridiculous.
And we feel the same. Thank you, Nicci. Have a good afternoon.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, sir. Bye.
Mums and dads, thank you so much on behalf of Mama Magic and for joining us this afternoon. I can see there are more questions. Get in touch with Bedtime Baby Bliss. And of course, stay in touch with South Africa's home for mums, dads, and babies, and that is Mama Magic South Africa. So thank you so much, guys. Have a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and I certainly hope that all the advice is going to help you. Have a great day, guys. Bye.